Nick Kyrgios has reignited the debate on revenue sharing in the world of tennis, a very sensitive topic that always generates in-depth discussions. Novak Djokovic, after the match won against Gail Monfils at the Brisbane International, was questioned on the subject and expressed his point of view by developing a very long speech. The Serbian champion explained that tennis is a global sport and that players still have to deal with different rules and tax systems. The question then shifted to how each tournament manages the prize money to be made available. Only a small part, especially if you think about other sports, of the total revenue is destined to the protagonists of the tour. It's a fact. It's not my opinion, and what Nick says is true. In the most famous American sports, NBA, NHL, NFL, the institutions take 50% of the cake, sometimes a little more, sometimes less. In our sport, the percentages are much lower. Let me explain. Ours is a different sport. It's international and we play it all over the world. We are subject to different rules and laws of different countries that have their own rules and taxation systems. And then each tournament manages the division of the prize money itself. We also have the ATP, the WTA, the Grand Slams, all separate entities that can do what they want. It's a very fragmented reality, and it's not easy to try to put everyone in the same room and say let's agree on certain percentage. Also because the revenue of an ATP 250 is very different from that of a slam. I was president of the All Players Council and I have been part of it for 10 years and I know exactly the system works. And unfortunately, it's not the players who make the decisions on the most important issues. The problem in the ATP structure is that as players we only have 50% of the organization and there have been a lot of conflicts of interest between players and tournaments in the past years. Noel analyzed with his usual honesty. Djokovic's PTPA aims to change things to give tennis players a central role in these types of decisions. We want something different. We are all part of the same system and we can't do without each other. Yet we often find ourselves in conflict with each other. We want more money and they probably don't want to give it to us when we discuss prize money with them, which hides a lot of other details and is not easy to resolve. Ultimately, what Nick said is true. If you look at the percentage that players get from the overall revenue of the sport, it is much lower than most other global sports, especially American. Sloane Stephens has a pretty blunt message for those calling on her to retire, as the former world number 3 says. There is no need for that since she is still earning pretty good money. After becoming a Grand Slam champion 8 years ago and also winning her first WTA 1000 title at the 2018 Miami Open, the American started to slowly decline from the 2019 season. While she has managed to win 2 WTA titles since and remain a regular participant in the main level events, the last few seasons have not been the easiest and the American posted a losing 19-22 record last year after losing her last 6 matches in 2024. Also, Stephens was beaten by Ann Lee in her 2025 season opener in Auckland, and pretty much after every loss, the current world number 74 gets told by critics and angry bettors that it's time for her to walk away from pro tennis. Stephens hits back. You don't quit a job that pays you well. People don't have any filter. They also don't realize that you are another human being. They would never say it to your face. It actually prohibits people from putting their lives out there because they don't want to be judged. The 31-year-old told, it's all about what the athlete can handle, right? You should retire. I'm like, if these people are still paying me, I'm not going. I think people don't realize. If someone was paying you a lot of money, you would not quit your job. You would not leave your job. Truth be told, Stephens did earn some nice money last year, collecting $890,000 despite not having a great season. When it comes to her career earnings, she has netted $18.8 million in tournament prize money alone. So, as long as the American is able to play the WTA level tournaments, she probably won't seriously think about retiring. Aryna Sabalenka admits her team was concerned for her following the death of her ex-boyfriend Konstantin Koltsov, and they made steps to support her, but she realized that she could overcome the tragic situation on her own. Just as the world number one was preparing to kick off her Miami Open campaign in March, the shocking news came out that former Belarusian hockey star Koltsov committed suicide by jumping off the balcony in Miami. When Sabalenka broke her silence, she revealed that she and the 42-year-old, who she started dating in 2021, were no longer together at the time of his death. While the three-time Grand Slam champion was able to play in Miami in an all-black outfit, she lost early, and it was clear that she was extremely shaken over what happened. That's when her team figured out it would be a good idea to hire a psychologist. Sabalenka said, "My team hired me, psychologist, but I realized I could handle it myself. Honestly, I don't know how I continue to play. My team got a bit nervous after the last situation with my ex-boyfriend and they hired a psychologist," the 26-year-old told The Age. "When I spoke to him, he was like, 'How did you handle so many dramas in your life?' And at that moment I realized, okay, I don't need the psychologist. I can handle it by myself." I think first of all, you cannot control others. You can only control yourself, your behavior, and your attitude to things. And you just have to focus on the positives. In the 2019, Sabalenka's father, Sergei, suddenly passed away at 43. Over the years, the Belarusian acknowledged several times that it was an extremely traumatic event. When the Koltsov death happened, it was definitely another traumatic situation, but Sabalenka handled it properly, as she won the US Open later that year and also started dating entrepreneur Georgios Frangoulis. Ons Jabeur's comeback is picking up steam after the former world number 2 kicked off her Adelaide international campaign with a very notable 7-6, 6-6 to win over number 4 seed Danielle Collins. After struggling with a shoulder injury for quite some time and picking up her third consecutive defeat at the US Open, the Tunisian made a tough decision to end her 2024 season early and focus on recovering for this year. And so far, the 30-year-old's comeback has gone fairly as she won 3 matches in Brisbane last week before losing to eventual runner-up Mira Andreeva. In Adelaide, Jabeur was handed a very tough opener, but still she managed to get the job done and host world number 11 Collins. Throughout the match, the three-time Grand Slam finalist was returning exceptionally. While she twice lost her serve, she also created 11 breakpoint chances and converted 4 of them en route to sealing a win in an hour and a half of play. For a place in the Adelaide quarterfinal, the Tunisian, who plummeted to number 40, will play against Yulia Putintseva. How Jabeur overcame Collins. At the start of the match, the American dropped her serve in the opening game but responded with breaks in the 4th and 8th games to overturn the deficit and take a 5-3 lead. Just when it appeared that the whole momentum was on the number 4 seed side, the Tunisian impressively managed to get the break back and force a tie break, in which she realized her third set point to clinch a very tight first set. Then Jabeur missed out on some early break points in the second set but remained calm and finished the match on a 4-game run after collecting back-to-back breaks in the 6th and 8th games. The Tunisian tennis star now has 2 wins and 3 losses against Collins. Naomi Osaka is set to undergo an MRI to determine the extent of her abdominal injury but notes that she is feeling positive that it is nothing more than a minor issue that won't prevent her from competing at the Australian Open. On Sunday, the 27-year-old was beating to win her 8th WTA title and her first main glory since the 2021 Australian Open. But after the first set 6-4 of the Auckland final against Clara Towson, the Japanese asked for a physio to come out. After getting it checked and asking some questions, a teary-eyed Osaka retired from the final. While it was an absolutely heartbreaking and devastating way to end the Auckland final, it also cast doubt on her Australian Open appearance. I'm having an MRI today to assess. I don't feel that it's too serious and I still feel very optimistic about Australian Open, the former world number one said in a statement to the Japan Times. Osaka shared a message on Instagram. Had the Japanese won, it would have been her first title since becoming a mom. Still, she is trying to look at the entire situation positively and remains hopeful that there is something better in the cards for her. I have come to the conclusion that what's meant for me is meant for me, and maybe certain situations occur to train my mind for what's to come, Osaka wrote in the note that was posted in a series of Instagram photos. Maybe there's bigger and better things on my path, and I just have to continue the journey to encounter them. That being said, this is about to be a great year. In the comments section of the post, her coach Patrick Moratoglu wrote, "You did incredibly well. I'm proud of you and it is just the beginning. Hopefully the MRI results will come back positive for two-time Australian Open champion Osaka."